All right, good morning. I'm Texas Storm Chasers David Reimer. We've got a tornado warning now for Cass County in northeast Texas. First things first, let me update that scroller here at the bottom of the screen. This is going to be a tornado warning for a possible tornado on Highway 11 about 2 miles west of Linden. Just need to get myself all set up here real quick. But again, this is going to be a tornado warning until 9:15 for Cass County. This is going to include Linden, Douglasville, Atlanta, Queen City, Bloomberg, and Domino in Cass County in northeast Texas. So, tornado warning means you need to take your tornado safety precautions. That'll be lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. We don't want you in mobile homes. We don't want you in trailers. None of that. You need to move to a site-built structure. Lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And yeah, it's a good tornado warning on the part of the Weather Service in Shreveport. We had been watching this storm try to spin up a circulation for about the last 15 minutes, and it kept gradually intensifying. And whoop-de-doo, here we go. We've got a possible tornado now on Highway 11, about 2 to 3 miles southwest and west of Linden. This is going to be moving northeast at about 45 miles an hour. It's going to be near Linden in the next 5 minutes. Atlanta, about 9:10. Queen City, about 9:15 this morning. Again, the possibility of a rain-wrapped tornado. Let me be abundantly clear. If there is a tornado down, you're not going to see it because it is going to be wrapped in rain. So please don't go outside looking for the bloody thing, because you're not going to see it. But again, this is the only tornado warning in the state of Texas. This is the only tornado warning we've had in the state of Texas this morning. For the most part, up until now, storms have been behaving themselves. We had a severe thunderstorm warning around Tyler a bit earlier, but otherwise, these storms have been behaving themselves. It's just this one little thunderstorm started ingesting some of these north-moving thunderstorms about 15 minutes ago, and that was enough to help kickstart a low-level mesocyclone, and now we have enough evidence in the which way the wind's moving mode that this thing could be getting ready to drop a tornado. The circulation continues to intensify. Those of you in the city of Linden, north on Highway 8 to Douglasville, and northeast out of Linden up 59 to Atlanta and Queen City need to take your tornado safety precautions. It's going to be the lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Again, this is going to be a rain-wrapped tornado if there is a tornado, so you're not going to see it. Regardless of if there is a tornado or not, we are seeing indications of winds up to 70 miles an hour with this circulation. So you're either going to have straight-line winds of 70 miles an hour, or you're going to have the potential of a tornado. Either way, it's definitely going to be easy enough to knock down trees, so you do not want to be in an exterior room in your home or business or school. Don't be driving up Highway 8 between Douglasville and Linden. Don't be driving on 59 between Linden, Atlanta, and Queen City. Again, you need to take your tornado safety precautions. No trailers, no mobile homes, no manufactured buildings, and no vehicles. This possible tornado is now located approximately 2 miles west-northwest of Linden. It'll be crossing over FM 1399 here in the next 3 minutes or so. Then crossing over Highway 9, probably not that far north of Linden. This is probably going to be within 1 to 2 miles of the north side of Linden. So Linden itself is probably going to get a nasty whack on the backside of the circulation from the rear flank downdraft. Could have winds 60, 70 miles an hour, and the potential for a rain-wrapped tornado to the north. So, again, those of you in Linden, you need to be in your safe places. The possibility of a rain-wrapped tornado passing within 2 miles of town in the next couple of minutes, and the likelihood that we're going to have some very strong winds on the backside of the circulation, over 60 miles an hour. which is why we have a tornado warning for Cass County until 9:15 this morning. It is 8:48 now. Only severe weather warning we have in the state of Texas at this point. We've been behaving ourselves pretty nicely this morning. This little storm went into rotation about 30 minutes ago, and it keeps ingesting these little showers ahead of it, and that's helped to kickstart the low-level mesocyclone with this thunderstorm. You can kind of see it's kind of kinked out here a bit, and by kinking out, that was also able to help spin up a circulation here. Somewhat more broad than the last couple of minutes now near the city of Linden. The mesocyclone may be undergoing some reorganization, but nevertheless, we're seeing signs that this could put not only a tornado down, but is likely producing damaging straight-line winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour. This whole thing is moving into the city of Linden now, and is then going to be driving up Highway 59, not really driving unless it's driving trees up 59, and then moving towards Atlanta and Queen City. So again, this red outline here, I'll turn the radar off so you can see it. This is a tornado warning until 9:15 this morning for Cass County in northeast Texas. This possible tornado will remain well south of Texarkana. This is going to stay well north of places like Jefferson, Smithland, Lodi, Uncertain. And again, this is way north of Marshall. This is staying south of places like Maud, Redwater, Texarkana. This is not a problem for you. This is an issue for Linden, up Highway 59 to Atlanta, Queen City, and Domino, Douglasville. You're technically in the tornado warning, though I think this potential tornado will stay south of Douglasville. Those of you from Douglasville east over to Queen City and Atlanta down to Linden on 59 need to be in your safe places. What's your safe place? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's going to be lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Absolutely not a good idea to go outside and look for this thing, because if there is a tornado, it is wrapped in heavy rain and you're not going to see it. You're just going to see rain currents spinning around until a tree falls on you and gives you a crack on the head. And we don't want anyone getting a crack on the head. All right, we are also advising folks not to be in a manufactured home or a vehicle. That is not a good idea in the midst of a tornado warning or destructive straight-line wind situation. We're worried about trees falling on roads, trees falling on buildings, and we really want folks to treat this seriously. Even if we don't have a tornado down, this thunderstorm is producing a pretty nasty surge of straight-line winds, indicated here on the which way the wind's blowing mode. You can see we're seeing winds. We had a 77 or a 67 mile an hour wind gust here right over Linden. And again, we're going to begin a radar scan update here in just a second. But again, a pretty nasty surge of wind coming into Linden that might knock out power, knock some trees down, stuff like that. There's the latest scan on the how hard it's raining mode. And again, you can't see the classic hook echo in terms of the how hard it's raining mode. But in terms of the which way the wind's blowing mode, you can see a nasty little surge of wind now in the city of Linden. And this is going to be riding up Highway 59 towards Atlanta. This may be evolving into more of a straight-line wind signature now versus a tornadic signature, but the threat remains similar in that this thunderstorm is definitely producing strong enough winds to knock some trees down. All right, let's see. We'll put a storm track on this. They have this moving northeast at about 43 miles an hour. So we're going to move back to the which way the wind's blowing mode. I'm going to draw this just ahead, since radar does have a wee bit of a delay in it. And again, they've got this at about that. So again, we're expecting this potential tornado and or damaging straight line wind signature to be in Atlanta by 9:05. Queen City about 9:05 to 9:07. Linden, this should be out of town here in the next 10 minutes. Still, Linden, if stay in a safe place through, let's just say, 9 a.m. And then this is going to continue, essentially, just riding up Highway 59 towards Atlanta and Queen City and Domino. So again, those of you in Atlanta, Queen City, we're looking at about 9:05. Domino, probably about, let's say, 9:10. And Bloomberg, right there on the Arkansas-Texas border there, north of 59 and west of Doddridge, Arkansas, probably 9-10 as well. And again, this thunderstorm capable of producing a spin-up tornado and damaging straight-line winds of 60 to 75 miles an hour over the city of Linden now, starting to exit Linden off to the northeast. And then this will continue progressing to the northeast at about 45 miles an hour. You can see the latest scan here showing a pretty good surge of wind now just on the east sides of Linden. This is the how or which way the wind's blowing mode, and you can see even if we don't have a tornado, we could have straight line winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour. And again, the circulation itself is not as defined as it was. This is more of a straight line wind signature than a tornadic signature. But again, in this instance, it doesn't really matter. Straight line winds is 70 miles an hour. Tornado is 70 miles an hour. Both are going to knock trees down and cause all sorts of problems. So again, Linden, give it another 7 minutes, and then this should be far enough east of town to be okay. Those of you in Atlanta, Queen City, and I'll just say Bivens for the sake of simplicity down here on Highway 43, you need to be in a safe place. That'll be lowest floor, center room, away from windows, too. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And again, this is the only severe thunderstorm in the state of Texas. We've got a lot of storms on a southeastward moving cool front all the way back into the Brazos Valley. But again, none of this activity is severe. The only severe storm we're dealing with is this storm that has managed to spin itself up into a tiffy now about 2 to 3 miles northeast of Atlanta, riding up Highway 59, moving 2 to 3 miles northeast of Linden, riding up Highway 59 towards Atlanta, Queen City, and Bivens there on Highway 43. So those of you in Bivens, Atlanta, Queen City, Bloomberg, you need to be in a safe place. Lowest floor, center room, away from windows, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. This is not going to be something that lasts particularly long. The storm's moving pretty quickly to the northeast at about 45 miles an hour, and this storm is showing intermittent pockets of rotation. What we're dealing with is a storm that can produce damaging straight-line winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour and the potential for a spin-up tornado, both of which could easily knock down trees, knock down power lines, and knock said trees down onto structures and roadways. So we definitely don't want folks trying to go out and look for this. If we have a tornado down, it is likely going to be wrapped in rain, and we're seeing a pretty good surge of straight-line winds. And again, here's the how hard it's raining mode. You can see we don't have a super well-defined reflectivity structure with that classic hook echo, but nevertheless, those of you in Atlanta down to Bivens on 43 up to Queen City and Bloomberg need to be in a safe place, because even though the how hard it's raining signature isn't your classic hook echo, the which way the wind's blowing mode clearly shows an enhanced pocket of straight line winds, maybe a spin up tornado. Now probably about 4 to 5 miles northeast of Linden, riding up 59 towards Atlanta, and Bivens up to Queen City. I think it's likely the worst of this is going to stay well south of Domino, but Domino is in this tornado warning still, and you're definitely still dealing with a thunderstorm. But again, those of you in Domino, up Highway 59 north of Atlanta, this is probably going to be an issue for areas near Queen City, Atlanta, Bloomberg, down to Bivens on 43. And again, this may not be a situation where we get a tornado per se, or at least a tornado that's down for a long period of time, but this is a situation where we could have an intermittent hopscotching tornado and a lot of straight line winds that could be knocking trees down all over the place between Linden and Atlanta right now. So we want folks to be in a safe place as this thunderstorm moves off to the northeast at 45 miles an hour. We'll get some roads on here. Again, Atlanta to Queen City, estimating about 5:05. Bivens, probably in the next 3 minutes. And again, this is Highway 43 south of Atlanta, 59 north of Atlanta, up towards Queen City and Domino. Worst of this is going to stay south of Domino. 59 going between Linden and Atlanta. This circulation, possible tornado and damaging straight line winds coming up on County Road 1921, County Road 4123, west of Highway 43. It'll be coming up to County Roads 4117, 4120. And then once this gets east of 43, it'll be crossing over Boggy Street, just east of Bivens. And then that will cross over Highway 77 that moves into pretty much northwest Arkansas west of Interstate 49. And again, this does not seem to be a situation where we have a tornado down for a long period of time. Switching over to the debris tracker mode, we'd be looking for a blue donut in the midst of this sea of red. And we're not seeing that debris signature, which is good. That doesn't mean we don't have a lot of straight line winds. That doesn't mean we don't have the possibility of a spin-up tornado currently down. You can see here the latest velocity scan just came on in. We're still seeing some pockets of 60-mile-an-hour winds between Atlanta and Linden. Circulation definitely not looking as organized, but we're still seeing attempts here at some convergent signatures that could spin up into a quick, brief spin-up tornado. I don't think this is one of these situations where, we've got a big, strong tornado down for 5, 10, 15 minutes. I think if we do have a tornado here, it's probably going to be one of these brief, quick spin-ups that's strong enough, certainly, to knock trees down and cause all sorts of issues in that department. But again, I don't think this would be a tornado that necessarily levels a house. That being said, even weak tornadoes are more than strong enough to demolish mobile homes. Let's make that perfectly clear. So you definitely don't want to be in a mobile home with this or any tornadic circulation or strong straight line winds. Let me clean off some of these roads. Again, it is now, in about 4 seconds, going to be 9 a.m. on the 5th of April 2023, now 9 a.m. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer. And we're dealing with a tornado warning for eastern Cass County. A possible spin-up tornado and damaging straight-line winds approaching Atlanta now within the next 5 minutes. Queen City, Atlanta, Bloomberg. You need to be in a safe place. That'll be the lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Don't go outside looking for this. You can see the latest scan coming in there. And for what it's worth, this thing, if there's anything down, is wrapped in rain. You're not going to see it. So, those of you in Atlanta, this possible tornado will be in town within the next 2 to 4 minutes. Now, literally coming up at Highway 59, just southwest of town. If it's down, coming up to O'Farrell Road, coming up to Forest Lane, Caddo Drive, Choctaw Drive, County Road 4114. And then this will be crossing over Highway 43 in Atlanta. So if you're in the city of Atlanta, again, you need to be in your safe place, as this possible tornado is now within 2 minutes of town. Even if we don't have a tornado down, we likely do have some straight line winds of 50 to 65 miles an hour that has the potential to knock down trees. So even if we don't have a tornado, it's a good idea to get into an interior room, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And we definitely don't want you being near windows, just in case we do have some tree debris that comes flying and breaks the windows. So again, if you're in Atlanta, this won't last all that long, but you need to be in shelter for probably another 10 to 15 minutes. A little circulation down by Bivens, which is south of Atlanta on Highway 43, trying to spin up too. But once these storms make it east of Highway 43 and Highway 57, you will be in decent shape. Thank you, Jason. How about this? I'll turn it on. So again, we are covering a possible tornado now within about 2 minutes of Atlanta, Texas, on Highway 59, 43, 77 in eastern Cass County. This is in northeast Texas. This is going to be well south of Texarkana, well north of Marshall. Only severe storm in the state right now. I know we've got plenty of showers and storms along the southeastward moving cool front, but they've been behaving for the most part. We've just got the potential for a rain-wrapped, spin-up tornado and damaging straight-line winds now moving into the city of Atlanta. So again, Atlanta, you should have been in your safe place 15 minutes ago when we started, yapping about this thing, but it's pretty much rolling into town now. Oh, I hate allergies, let me tell you, but at least I got a quick mute button so y'all didn't have your speakers blown out by me sneezing. So again, there's the latest scan. Circulation looking weaker. That's good. Still showing some strong winds up to 60 miles an hour moving into Atlanta. But the good news is the circulation itself is looking much less tornadic. We definitely have some straight line winds for sure. But the potential tornado, if we had one, honestly, might be more likely now closer to Bivens to McLeod, just west of Odessa, Louisiana, and that circulation will be moving east, pretty much on the Arkansas-Louisiana border, moving towards Odessa and Ida, Louisiana, and crossing over Interstate 49, pretty much right on the Arkansas-Louisiana state line. Still could have strong winds right now in the city of Atlanta, but that looks much less like a tornadic signature and just more like a, hey, it's windy, it's a thunderstorm, you know what, it's going to happen sort of signature. So hopefully, with that being said, we'll be able to get rid of this tornado warning for Cass County in the next 5 to 10 minutes. We've been live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, the Texas Weather Center YouTube. Apparently, I forgot to turn on the Texas Storm Chasers YouTube button, but again, we've been live on our primary weather channel for Texas, Texas Weather Center. So that would be a good YouTube channel to follow if you're interested in Texas weather forecast and Texas weather coverage versus just the Texas storm chasing content and storm chasing content. But again, that was a boo-boo on my part. But again, we are here for the possibility of what may have been a spin-up tornado close to Linden about 15 minutes ago. That circulation has moseyed on up Highway 59, now close to the city of Atlanta, where it's now storming and pouring. There's the latest scan. You can see at this point that wind signature is even starting to decrease. We'll put the probe on. You can see at this point, hey, magical radar probe button of life, you want to work? Thank you. You can see here that showing winds of about 45 miles an hour, 40, maybe 50. So at this point, it is windy in the city of Atlanta. It is pouring. It is storming. The lightning's going a roaring. But if there was a tornado at this point, it would probably be very close to the Texas-Louisiana border, just northwest of Odessa, Louisiana. I'm trying to put on the... There we go. Coming up on County Road 4659, Highway 77, County Road 4670, and you can see the Weather Service just updated that tornado warning polygon. Frankly, not really much in that warning polygon at this point in terms of what I would consider to be a strong signature capable of producing a tornado. If there were to be a spin-up tornado, it would probably be a bit south of this polygon on the Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana border. The true definition of the Arklatex. So again, it's storming, it's pouring, it's raining in Atlanta. You've got strong winds, but not really seeing too much of a tornado signature. The Weather Service does continue a tornado warning for another 9 minutes for places like Domino, Queen City, Atlanta, and Bloomberg, and far eastern Cass County. This is in the far northeastern portions of Texas. South of Texarkana, well north of Marshall, now northeast of Linden. If you're in Linden, you are clear to come out of your shelters. If you're in Douglasville, you're clear. If you are in Atlanta, give it another 5 minutes. Queen City, Bloomberg, Domino, give it another probably 5 to 10 minutes. I mean, it's windy, it's pouring, it's storming. And I'll be honest, there's probably not a tornado here right now. But the Weather Service has that tornado warning still. But I suspect with great optimism, this warning will be gone by 9:15. And again, at this point, this storm is actually about to move into Arkansas. So, Atlanta, I'd say if you're in the city of Atlanta, you're probably good to come out now. I mean, if you want to be safe and technical, stay in shelter for another 5 minutes. I mean, it's a nasty storm. It's storming, it's pouring, the winds are blowing. But The strongest portion of this thunderstorm is literally within a mile of the Louisiana-Arkansas-Texas state line. And you can see the latest scan there, literally crossing over Highway 77 at County Road 4659. This is going to be just northwest of Odessa, Louisiana, west of Kablah, Arkansas, there on Interstate 49. Something that sounds almost Klingon in nature, which is funny because I'm a Trekkie. But again, if you're in Atlanta, Queen City, Domino, the tornado warning technically does continue for another 6 to 7 minutes. But to be honest with you, there's nothing that remotely indicates there's a tornado right now. The rotation signature, if there was one, is currently almost in Arkansas and Louisiana. So at this point, to be frank, I think those of you in Atlanta, Queen City, Domino, you're probably good to come out of your shelters. It's raining, it's pouring, there's plenty of cloud-to-ground lightning, it's probably windy, you've probably got some 40, 50-mile-an-hour winds, but really, I mean, I don't think there's a tornado there right now. I think that circulation has weakened, dissipated, and if we did have a circulation try to spin up, it would probably be this one that is northwest of Odessa, Louisiana, northwest of Ida, Louisiana, coming up on Interstate 49 near Doddridge and Kablah, Arkansas. Or if you prefer, Kablah. And my poor impersonation of a Klingon. Though if you'd like, I can say Kablah. There you go. So again, this point, I'm perfectly content saying Atlanta, Queen City, Bloomberg, Domino, you're fine. This tornado warning, this possible tornadic circulation has exited your neck of the woods. It is storming and pouring, but you're probably good to go. We'll zoom back out. We'll just take a look at the entire state real quick. I'll put some radar on here. You can see we're dealing with a line of showers and thunderstorms all the way now from essentially Texarkana. You can see the leading edge of the cold front now past Tyler, about to move into Longview. We'll see that moving into Bryan College Station here in the next several minutes. And then it's already passed through San Antonio. Northwest winds and showers and storms. In fact, if you watched the Texas Weather Roundup this morning, you know it's going to be storming for the next few days here in the southeastern third, eastern third of Texas. We could see 5 to 8 inches of rain across parts of the Victoria Crossroads, the coastal plains, the southeast Texas area up into the Golden Triangle. In fact, I'll switch to a different product here that'll show you that. Here's the forecast rain totals over the next 5 days. And to be frank, the weekend's going to be pretty much dry, so this is going to be rain totals today, tomorrow, into Friday. You can see we're looking at a pretty good soak in here. Piney Woods of East Texas back southwest, Brazos Valley, southeast Texas, the Golden Triangle, all the way back southwest into the Victoria Crossroads, the coastal plains, the Middle Texas coast. Again, 2, 3, 4, up to 8 inches of rain. Flooding could be an issue for some folks, although it'll depend more on how quickly the rain falls versus how much rain falls over the next 3 days. Obviously, 5, 6, 7 inches of rain falling over a 3-day span is going to be a lot less problematic than, 5 inches of rain in 5 hours. So we'll keep an eye on that for sure, but otherwise, it's going to be a wet couple of days across the southeastern, almost the southeastern half of Texas. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. And after this morning's little stormy mischief here in northeast Texas, a majority of our focus will be transitioning over to the shower thunderstorm coverage and the potential for some hydrometeorological issues. Flooding, street flooding, rises on creeks and streams, low water crossings versus the convective weather or severe weather, large hail, damaging winds, tornadoes, that nonsense. But again, tornado warning goes pretty much for another 2 minutes. And to be frank, it's over. It's done. It's more done than my hairline. So if you're in Domino, Atlanta, Linden, Douglasville, Bloomberg, Queen City, you know what? I know it's storming. I know it's pouring. But the simple fact is, Any sort of tornadic signature is now east of the Texas state line in Arkansas. So with that being said, y'all are cleared to go. We'll take a look real quick. Since we're here, we'll just pop up the high-res rapid refresh model, give you all a timeline on the stormies today, or at least Crashy the cold front, because it is going to be much cooler behind this cool front for the next few days, which will be nice, you know, highs in the 50s and 60s versus 90s and triple digits. Triple digits, ridiculous this early in the year. Garbage. You can tell I'm about as thrilled about that as I am about my hairline. It's just that kind of a morning. But it is hump day. All right, let's load the super duper awesome blossom. Hey, I can make up cool acronyms too, just like someone in marketing. All right, let's pop up the high-res rapid refresh. All right, let me turn on satellite for this too because I can. All right, here we go. So this is going to be for 9 a.m. I just wanted to see how the model was doing. It's a little slow with this stuff in Texarkana, but you know what? That's okay. We'll just keep on going. Let's just pop up to noon. You can see by this point, clouds clearing west of I-35, where it's going to be a cooler day, but pretty nice day. Still showers and storms here in the southeastern third, eastern third of Texas. We'll pop up to 4 p.m. You can see we actually have some new thunderstorm development behind the cold front here in the Brazos Valley, Central Texas, East Texas this afternoon. Some of those may have some small hail, heavy rain. Let's just fast forward here, 7 o'clock. You can see we've actually got some pretty strong-looking storms here in the Brazos Valley, East Texas. Heavy rain, cloud-to-ground lightning, might be a bit of hail and heavy rain, but again, this is going to be behind the cool front. Here is 10 o'clock, and it's storming and pouring in East Texas, the Piney Woods of East Texas, down to Southeast Texas, and parts of South Texas. Let's just pop up to 1 a.m. Thursday, and here you go. Additional storms developing across South Texas, the Rio Grande Plains, Rio Grande Valley, moving northeast up the coastal plains, the Middle Texas coast there, the coastal bend, and then up into Southeast Texas, the Piney Woods of East Texas, north of the Golden Triangle in East Texas. So again, it's going to be storming and pouring. And that'll take us over the next couple days where it's just going to be storming and pouring too. So again, next couple of days across Texas, we're expecting a boatload of rain across the southeastern third of Texas. We could see some flooding, street flooding, rises on creeks and streams, low water crossings having issues. But with that being said, I am happy to announce that we have no tornado warnings or severe thunderstorm warnings or none of that ongoing in the state of Texas right now. So barring any sort of problematic stormy mischief, which I don't think is particularly likely at this point, but hey, you know what? You challenge Mother Nature to do something, she's going to do it, so let's not challenge her to make mischief. We should be done with the severe weather mischief. So with that being said, no tornado warnings, no severe thunderstorm warnings. I encourage you all to keep an eye on the sky with the new free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. It's out on Apple and Google devices. Go download it. We think you'll like it. It's a pretty nice update from version 1. Version 2 of the Texas Storm Chasers app now available. Go download it. Let us know what you think. If there's any more severe weather mischief, we will be back. But as there is none now, except some rain, some storms, some gusty winds, it is my job to say adios. Y'all have a good morning. God bless.